Now it's time on the programme for our Perspective guest. In doing the research for today's Perspective, one of the first articles I stumbled across asked the question on the top line in its headline, is it safe for LGBTI plus people to travel to Turkey? Well, the answer was simply, definitely no. Well, I'll show you some images, for example, of Istanbul Pride. This is from 2022. It starts off very peacefully, but as you'll see, the situation does deteriorate. While same-sex relationships and queer or trans people are not illegal in Turkey, there is no legal protection from discrimination. That even though the overall situation is considered less repressive when compared to most other Muslim-majority countries. This weekend, here in Paris, Amnesty International is mobilising for the rights of LGBTI plus people in Turkey. As part of Pride Month, the Turkish lawyer and activist Hayriye Kara is in Paris at the Pride March this coming weekend, and she joins us now here on set. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's talk about the situation, first of all, in Turkey. How bad is it for LGBTI plus people?
Right now, I can say the situation is not good for LGBTI plus people in Turkey. But the thing is, the LGBTI plus movement in Turkey is very strong. We are there, we are in the streets. Yes, the government and demonize and targeting LGBTI plus people right now inside Turkey, like LGBTI people are against our family values, it's like our moral issues. But the thing is, you know, we are there, we have rights, and we are struggling for it. So in Turkey, yes, as you mentioned, you know, same-sex relations not illegal. But the thing is, right now, in the legislation, like against morality, family values, usually used against LGBTI plus people, you know, to prevent, to intervene their freedom of speech and freedom of protest.
I mean, people quite brave, would you say, to go out and join the
Yes, they are very
marches?
brave, but the thing is, this is about holding your ground, you know. This is not about, you know, saying something about fashion or something like that. We are talking about our lives. You know, our spaces, we are living there, our bodies. So this is about, this is about our bodies, our lives, right to life. And so we have to be brave, okay? You know, we are here and people have to deal with it.
You're an activist and a lawyer. What kind of cases do you have to deal with?
Okay, I am working in CausGL professionally. It's the first and the leading LGBTI plus association in Turkey since 2010. I provided legal assistance to LGBTI plus people from Turkey, but my profession is I am working with LGBTI plus refugees and on refugee rights for years. So I'm providing assistance and I'm following the cases of LGBTI plus refugees inside Turkey.
And how difficult is that? I mean, have you been able to have some successes, or is it a constant battle trying to help people?
The thing is, you know, I don't know, 10 years ago, that's okay. But since 2015, Pride marches banned by the government, and also, you know, police officers attack brutally the demonstrators in the streets. But, you know, for LGBTI refugees, it's not about only the practice. You know, also it's about the legislation. Turkey is kind of a legal limbo. So it's really hard to advocate, to struggle for refugee rights because of the situation and refugee crisis, you know. And also racism is increasing everywhere. I'm not talking about in Turkey, also in Europe, all around the world. And Turkey is kind of the gatekeeper of EU right now regarding refugee rights and, you know, keeping refugees inside Turkey. So also it's really hard to struggle to advocate about human rights all in Turkey internationally. You know, we cannot find also international pressure on Turkey.
Yeah. And those people you're trying to help, presumably they're discriminated in two ways. For a start, they're refugees,
yes,
and they're LGBTI plus as well.
Yeah, they are facing multiple discrimination. They are dealing with, they are trying to survive within this hostile community, increasing racism, demonize LGBTI plus people, and also, even some oppositionist societies, opposition parties in Turkey, they're producing, racist comments against refugees in Turkey. So you're right.
You're here in Paris to take part partly in the Gay Pride events this Saturday. I mean, it's a huge event here in Paris that'll occupy a number of streets as it makes its way through. Very, very colourful, very, very loud. Is it important to you to be here to see that kind of thing happening in other European countries?
Yeah, it's really I think it feels really good because, for years, I could not march for years in Gay Pride because also, I was working at that time as a lawyer, like in the negotiation committee, and after that, following the custodies. But right now, I'm here as an activist, and I'm going to be march, and I think it's going to feel really good. But the thing is, in Turkey, I really want to thank all the LGBTI pluses in Turkey. They are in the streets and they are really brave and they are demanding their rights in the streets. And right now in Turkey, all the human rights, facing a lot of difficulties in Turkey. But the thing is, only feminists and LGBTI pluses are on the streets demanding rights. So it's very important, and LGBTI plus movement is very political in Turkey. So yes, I'm gonna be march for them also, And on Sunday, there is gonna be a Pride march in Istanbul. Right now, we do not know what's gonna happen, but most probably, police will attack because last year also attacked people and over 100 people were taken under custody. So also I really want to mention here the Pride March in Istanbul.
Yeah, so very much while you're marching on Saturday, you'll be thinking about what's
Yes.
going to happen the next day very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those emotional moments as well, you're carrying through as well. You're taking part in a debate as well on Friday night, aren't you?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I'm going to speak with my friend from Turkey also, and I will talk about the legislation and how legislation is used against LGBTI pluses and pride marches, and against the freedom of speech and freedom of protest of LGBTI pluses, because right now. I'm not talking about only pride marches. The rainbow is criminalized by the authorities. Yeah, it's ridiculous and also it's scary. I'm not talking about only rainbow flags. I'm talking about rainbow, the items, rainbow on it. So, I'm going to talk about these issues. The freedom of speech mostly, focused on freedom of speech and freedom of protest.
One last question, and this is to help our viewers, I suspect, more than anything else. We're very used, particularly here in France and other countries, to hearing that expression LGBTQ. Now we're saying LGBTI. Tell us what that change is and why it's come about.
The thing is, I am not familiar at the moment here in France closely, but in Turkey for years we are using LGBTI plus. So I means intersex, and I'm sorry about. I try to explain it, but English is not my first language.
You're doing it very well. Yeah.
Intersex people do not have typical. Defined as typical man and woman sex characteristics. They do not fit defined man and woman sex characteristics. So, there is no one type of intersex sex characteristics. So the I is for intersex people. In Turkey, the intersex movement, intersex activists, we're really close to LGBT movement in Turkey, and plus is an umbrella term, or it can also include queers. So, LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and intersex for, people have different sex characteristics from typical man and woman. It could be chromosomes or, the genitals or reproductive organs.
Good to have it explained.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us
much.
today. Hayriye Kara in Paris this weekend for the Pride March. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.